see the thing smoking on top.
They're holding. See?
That's the spot.
They're holding.
Head in the bed. Punch out the face. Hand of the job. Open your mouth. Charge face. Hand down, punch. All right. Hey. Take. Cry.
Look at the window.
I don't know. I don't think they put on. No cannonball.
Did they have to word it again?
Full player.
There he is.
What did you say?
Gunners, hey, play!
There we go.
Yeah! Fire!
That was amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen the smoke, you have seen the flame, you can probably even smell the odor of that gunpowder in the air. But at the end of the day, why does this matter? Beyond the smoke, beyond the noise, why do we focus on this piece of history? The reason why is because on the 18th century battlefield, without this artillery, American liberty as we know it today would not have been able to be achieved. It is recognized very early on in the conflict. These guns were crucial for victory, for not only winning battles, but winning a war in general. And it is going to be men like Henry Knox who are responsible for acquiring this artillery for the Continental Army at Fort Ticonderoga, bringing them to General Washington at the Siege of Boston, where the sight of those guns alone is enough to convince the British Army that their position is impenetrable and the Siege of Boston is lifted. And throughout the entirety of this conflict of the American Revolution, this is a period of time where these guns are crucial for not only the greatest victories of the Continental Army, as they are going to press their advantage, but also they are crucial in their greatest defeats, giving them covering fire so that the Army can live and fight another day. But it is going to be here in Virginia, 1785, 10 miles south of the Siege of Yorktown. It is during that crucial siege that guns like these and much larger pieces, and with the support of French artillery, it is those artillerists who will be responsible for subduing Cornwallis's army into submission and securing American victory on this continent. Yet that alone is not why we focus so much on the field of artillery. The reason why we focus so much on how these guns work and how they're handled is really because the men who did operate these guns 250 years ago, many of whose names have been lost to history. Even during their time, it is men like Alexander Hamilton and many other notable names who will be remembered for their great deeds. But many of these men who pushed these guns, who pulled them, who bled, and who died on these guns during that crucial moment of American history, those names will not be remembered in history. But what we can do to remember their actions, to remember their deeds, to remember their sacrifice, is to perform these actions as close as we can to experience what life might have been like for these men. For without their actions and without their crucial sacrifice, it is those men like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry, those big names in American history would not have been able to perform the great deeds that they would have done without those sacrifices of those unfortunate men who would not have the same amount of glory. And it is from these actions, how we can remember these actions now, 250 years later, as we look back on that American history, look at how far we've come and how far we have to go, that we can really appreciate what these men did and what their sacrifice meant for this great American experience that we call the United States of America. But it is at this point I want to say